In a sensational twist in the Goa murder shocker, a domestic violence case against a deceased boy's father has now come to the fore. Times Now has exclusively accessed court order in this case against Venkat Raman filed by his wife, Suchana Seth. The domestic violence case was last heard on the 12th of December, more than 3 weeks before Seth allegedly murdered her son. Seth had got a restraining order against husband Venkat Raman, and in her affidavit, Seth accused her husband of abusing her physically, mentally and economically. She even shared WhatsApp chats and medical records of the same to substantiate her claims. Further, she sought 2.5 lakhs per month from her husband as maintenance, claiming that he had an annual income of over 1 crore. Crucially, the court order noted that due to abusive behavior of Venkat, the child soon developed a sense of fear and refused to be in his company. In another sensational disclosure, the court also took note of Seth's statement that the child was taking treatment at Deepens and also adolescent psychiatry center in view of the sexual harassment. However, Venkat denied all these allegations made by Suchana and prayed to the court to reject the application. The court had directed Venkat to hand over the belongings of Suchana and toys, clothes of the child within 15 days. Remember, Suchana Seth was arrested and sent to 6 days of police custody for allegedly killing her son. The postmortem has revealed that the child was smothered or strangulated to death.
ಕುತ್ತಿಗೆಯನ್ನ ಹೆಚ್ಚಿಗೆ ಸಾಯಿಸಲಾಗಿದೆ. ಅಂದರೆ ನಾವು ಸ್ಮಾದರಿಂಗ್ ಅಂತೀವಲ್ಲ ಇಂಗ್ಲೀಷ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ಮಾದರಿಂಗ್, ಅದು ಬಹುಶಃ ಬಟ್ಟೆ ಯೂಸ್ ದಿಂಬು ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿರ್ಬೋದು. ಅದನ್ನು ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಕುತ್ತಿಗೆನ ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಂಗ್ಯುಲೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಲಾಗಿದೆ. ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಂಗ್ಯುಲೇಷನ್ ಆಗಿ ಮಗು ಸತ್ತು ಹೋಗಿದೆ. ಟೈಮು ಅವ್ರದ್ದು ರೈಗರ್ ಮಾರ್ಟಿಸ್ ರಿಸಾಲ್ವ್ ಆಗೋಗಿದೆ. ಯೂಶುವಲಿ ರೈಗರ್ ಮಾರ್ಟಿಸ್ ನಮ್ಮ ಇಂಡಿಯಾದಲ್ಲಿ 36 ಅವರ್ಸ್ವರೆಗೂ ಇರ್ತದೆ. ಸೊ ಆಫ್ಟರ್ 36 ಅವರ್ಸ್ ಆದಮೇಲೆ ರೈಗರ್ ಮಾರ್ಟಿಸ್ ರಿಸಾಲ್ವ್ ಆಗ್ತದೆ. ಈ ಮಗುವಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವುದೇ ಭಾಗದಲ್ಲಿ ರೈಗರ್ ಮಾರ್ಟಿಸ್ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಅಂದರೆ ಮೋರ್ ದೆನ್ 36 ಅವರ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಇಲ್ಲ, ಯಾವುದೇ ಗಾಯ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವುದು ಬ್ಲಡ್ ಲಾಸ್ ಆಗಲಿ ಗಾಯಗಳಾಗಲಿ ಏನೂ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಈವನ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರಗಲ್ ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸು ಸಹ ಯಾವುದೂ ಇಲ್ಲ.
You're watching the News Hour at 10, debate number 2 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
And for more of this, let's go right across to our guest. Joining us, Dr. Deepak Raheja, psychiatrist and director of Hope Care India, is joining us live. With us also is Nirbhar Kaur, former IPS officer. Suhail Seth also joining us on the broadcast. It's a very, very shocking story as it is. And there's an even more shocking twist to it, Nirbhar Kaur, that's come out before us, when it is learned that at least the mother in her petition has alleged, and the court has ordered, saying that the husband or the father of this child used to allegedly physically abuse them, and there's even an order noting the fact that there has been sexual harassment. Now, this is a very, very shocking story if indeed these grave allegations are true.
Yes, it is. It is a very sordid thing to have happened, but then that is happening all around us. People who are so smart, otherwise they are smart in the field of technology, but socially, familially, totally challenged. I mean, there's no socialization here. There's no social values have been inculcated in these individuals. Obviously, a very, very dysfunctional family. And she has, mother Suchana has in her petition alleged that they were subject to sexual harassment. Now, what is the mother's state of mind? One doesn't know. Maybe the psychiatrists and the police will get her examined. But it is not a very happy situation to be in. It is a constant stress, and this extreme step when the mother has taken, maybe what mother has not in a very fit frame of mind as of now. Though the father seems to be earning 1 crore and above, that means he's very good at his work. He knows his job. But as a father, as an individual, as a human being, as a social being, he's a total failure. In fact, he's a shame to the name of a father. Or so, for that matter, even the mother who strangled her child.
Well, one only feels very sorry for this 4-year-old who had to go through all of this. That's the absolute tragedy of this entire situation. And just coming to Suhail Seth, I want to get in a word from Dr. Deepak Raheja, who's a psychiatrist. Dr. Deepak Raheja, it's just very difficult to wrap one's mind around. On the one hand, you have this lady who is a CEO of an artificial intelligence company. She's won some awards, etc. On the other hand, you have the husband who's also a very successful professional. But at the end of the day, you may be very successful in terms of your profession, but if this is the kind of mental state that individuals are living in, then, I mean, it's really a time for all of us to pause and reflect on what kind of a world we're living in. I mean, nothing can justify a murder. No one can. But, just the circumstances of it, it's just very difficult to wrap one's mind around it.
I mean, it sure is a sheer dichotomy in terms of the persona that we are able to carry in the and for the outside world, and for the person and the human being that we are in close circuits with people who matter the most to us. And like you rightly said, it is very unfortunate for the child to go through what he did. And there are no circumstances that could even justify an aberrant behavior that would prompt a mother to decide to kill the child. And this is a mother who's not been behaving normally thereafter. There is no remorse, there's no guilt. And all the actions hitherto are directed towards working out how to evade the consequences and the penal consequences of what may have happened. So, a normal, I mean, let's say if it was not premeditated murder and if it happened impromptu in that moment with the impulse just control, she has exhibited no behavior that synchronizes with that. To live with the child in that hotel room for that period, to contemplate everything, including the journey, the road journey from Goa to Bangalore, to shove the body in the suitcase. This is not really maybe a criminal, not somebody who has a criminal background. This is one-off, and it's definitely a very deviant mind and a very, very unstable and a horrific internal cognitive state of this person, Suchana, and is worthy of deliberation. I mean, I don't want to carry that to generalize and spread a word of panic to say that this is a horrific society and the world we are living in. That's not true. This is one-off, and these one-offs may actually have happened many, many decades ago also. Now the media takes it clearly, it goes to the world, it comes to the limelight, but this is definitely one-off. A mother has clear umbilical cord with the child, is a natural protector of the child, even more so than the father.
Absolutely.
And for her to contemplate to do that is very, very worrying, very horrific, and is worthy of more psychological, mental state.
Well, the father hasn't covered himself in glory either if this petition is true, and certainly, of course, perhaps only the two individuals know what has happened. But I differ with you a little bit, Dr. Raheja. One perhaps shouldn't generalize, but end of the day, these two individuals are products of our society. So I'll say it's happened in one of our most aspirational cities, Bengaluru, which is painted as a new economy future. So much that's associated with that, so many stereotypes. And if it happens in a city like that, it really leads to one, to really pause and think about what's really going on in our society, where such successful professionals could have such deeply dysfunctional personal lives that lead to such shockingly tragic circumstances.
So amongst the richest countries in the world are the Nordic countries, which, by the way, Madhav, also have amongst the highest suicide rates in the world. So linking economic prosperity with mental health is a simplistic argument, A. B, as the lady very rightly said, and then Dr. Raheja said, you see, we are sitting here without all the facts at the fingertips of ours. We don't know what the realities are. That will only be known between these two people. But what is really reprehensible and shocking, and there I have a slight disagreement with Dr. Raheja, although he is the only expert on this panel. My disagreement is only very slight. No mother can be capable of doing this. But having said that, I do believe that it was to a certain measure premeditated. Because if it wasn't premeditated and if it was out of some mental health issues, to my mind, from a logical perspective, not from a medical perspective, something would have given way. The fact that she created an address, the fact that she dodged the cops, the fact that she then slit her own wrist in order to pretend that मैंने भी suicide करने की कोशिश की. These all point to certain levels of criminality. Now, why? And there's an old saying, Madhav, and the lady who is a very senior and distinguished police officer knows this. Behind every crime, the first thing you have to establish is motive. The motive cannot be because of visitation rights not being given to the father. So there I tend to agree with ma'am and with Dr. Raheja that there must be other compelling reasons in the relationship between the man and the wife. You see, it is not about whether the man earns 1 crore or the lady earns 1 crore or they're super successful. you and I never know the dynamics.
Absolutely.
आप मेरे को कहिए, Madhav, the most happy people who make demonstrable examples of their love outside on the street, inside we don't know what's going on. And one last point, you were right about Bangalore, but with success and with early success, with quick success, comes also societal pressure to perform to a stereotype. The problem with us in our country is we have forgotten our civilizational legacy and we want to ape the West in everything, not realizing that our family structure is unique.
Absolutely.
You know, my mother, I was privileged that I could live with my parents till they died. Now, when I told someone in the West, they said, "Arey, they were living with you." I said, "No, out of respect, I was living with them." So these values are values only part of our civilizational legacy, which may not be understood by people. But,
Right.
you know, forget everything else. My heart bleeds. I'm the father of a 4.5-year-old daughter. My heart bleeds at what that child must have gone through. That's
Absolutely.
the sad part. No
Absolutely.
child born into this world deserves what that poor boy has gone through.
I think we'll have to leave it there. I completely agree with you, Suhail said. I think every one of our viewers would also, be completely shocked and, really there's no words to describe what the child has gone through if one goes by these court orders and what's been reported even yesterday. No clarity yet. Perhaps only the investigation by the police will tell us the real truth into this entire matter. Will there be more twists? Will there be more revelations? Perhaps we have to watch out for, but certainly a story that has sent shockwaves throughout the country and a story that has many, many aspects that all of us, perhaps as citizens, need to consider very deeply. Thanks so much for joining us, Suhail Seth, Nirmal Kaur and Dr. Deepak Raheja.